Welcome to the special food edition of the Campus Edge.
This week, we'll be covering everything from burgers to burgers.
Careful now, you don't want our viewers to think we're only doing a show on burgers. We have stories over a wide array of foods.
I guess you're right. In this episode, we're opening and closing with cooking shows.
Well, yes, but we have plenty of variety in between.
Of course, how could I forget our pieces on food trucks and food made in the back of trucks?
Tailgating doesn't have to stay in a truck bed. Now you're generalizing.
Why don't you give them a summary a try then?
Do you know where food comes from? It's okay if you don't. We have a top-notch story on it, and more on that. We have stories ranging from the places to eat out to the best meals to make at home.
All that and more on the Campus Edge.
Whoa, all this food talk made me hungry.
Would you be interested in an excellent recipe for taco soup?
Don't put me on the spot like that. You know I don't deal well with real questions.
Sounds like a yes to me. Let's see the package.
Hi, I'm Jess.
I'm Emily.
And this is the Jess and Emily Show, sponsored by BCTV Channel 20.
Today, we're showing you how to make taco soup.
And for those college kids on a budget.
This meal only cost us $16.
You can impress your friends, family, and your roommates with this.
But before we get started, we need to wash our hands. First, we're putting the stove on a medium heat and putting the meat into the pan to cook until it's completely done. Using a meat grinder to stir.
So this is 2 pounds of meat. It costs us about $8 depending on the fat percentage, and lean depends on the price. We could cut it fully so there's no pink, and now we're about to go drain it. Yep.
So after we have our meat drained, we're going to pour it back into our pot to continue making the taco soup. And now we're going to drain the corn and the pinto beans.
After it's all drained, we're going to add it back into the pot.
And then continue adding the rest of the ingredients, including the stewed tomato.
1/2 cup of water.
And the chili beans.
Next, you're gonna mix it all up, including your taco seasoning and ranch seasoning. Once everything's in the pot, you're gonna bring it to a boil.
And then let it sit for 15 minutes uncovered.
Yeah. While that's cooking, check out this short little announcement.
When using a cutting board, be sure to clean it off in between different foods. And when sharp objects are in use, be sure that there are no small children around you.
After 15 minutes of simmering, we're ready to serve our guests.
And if you want to make a quick little snack or an appetizer, you can pour the taco soup into some chips that are shaped conveniently like a bowl.
With cheese, and it's perfect. For Butler game day watching,
Or dorm room chillin',
this meal is for anyone,
anywhere.
at any time.
Thanks for watching BCTV Channel 20.
This is the Jess and Emily Show with taco soup.
And there you have it, the perfect meal to satisfy your voracious appetite.
Even with all of those instructions, it still looks like a little too complicated of a meal for me to cook.
What's the matter? You can't use the stove?
It's actually more of a problem with it when it comes to using a spatula.
This meal doesn't exactly require a spatula, Tyler.
Really, anything that I have to touch or lift is an issue.
What's the cause of this problem exactly?
It all comes down to grip, and unfortunately, that's an attribute I wasn't really born with.
That's about as much detail as I think I can stand for this show.
What if I were to give you some details on our next story?
I'd say I already have that taken care of. And now that you mention it, why don't we take a look at Andrew Lillard's story on Angela's Italian Restaurant.
There's a lot of great and unique foods out there, but we always seem to gravitate towards the exact same thing, day in and day out. Well, I'm Campus Edge reporter Andrew Lillard, and I'm here to put a stop to that. I scoured all over Wichita and the surrounding communities in search of genuine, authentic food from around the world. My search found me at Angelo's Italian Restaurant, located near Central and Oliver. This restaurant seeks to provide authentic Italian cuisine to a wide audience. From the decor to the general atmosphere, everything you find at Angelo's is authentic. Whether it's entrees or desserts you're after, the authenticity brought by Angelo's cannot be rivaled. However, if German food is more your style, M&M's Bierox, located just down the street at the corner of Central and Ash, is perfect for you. Can't make it all the way down there? Well, Let 'em Eat Brats is a local food truck that seeks to deliver just the authenticity, but on wheels. So now, after seeing all those wonderful, amazing, readily available foods, will you be changing up your diet? I know I will. For Campus Edge, this is Andrew Lillard.
Wow, that looks delicious. If you're so hungry, why don't you eat there for lunch?
Well, I would, but I'll be at an event at Pop-Up Park in Wichita tonight, and I won't have time for a classy meal.
Well, in that case, you could always check out one of the local food trucks.
Is a food truck like an ice cream truck that serves food?
Minus the music, but yeah, that's pretty accurate, albeit convoluted description.
Well, that's crazy. I'd love to see one.
I guess you're in luck. We have a story over it.
Then let's take a look at the package.
I've been in Visit for like 3 years already here in Wichita. I'm from in Germany, 60 miles south of Frankfurt. I moved to the United States 30 years ago when I met my husband. We just like 4 years ago, we realized there's a big community of food trucks starting up and we wanted to do some kind of a restaurant. So we thought a food truck would be the first tryout to see if it actually would work. And so far we have big success. We go out at least 5 days a week, Tuesday through Saturdays the most of the time, mainly lunch hours. Sometimes we do evening as well. I serve mainly German cuisine food, brats, schnitzel, Bierox, potato salad, French fries, desserts as well. We are a food truck coalition here in Wichita, so we kind of have spots where we know where to set up here in Wichita. But we also just try to locate one, go ask for permission, and that's how we do it. I like to serve desserts actually, because they're unique here, because a lot of my customers like the desserts, the German type. They're not as sweet like the American desserts. And we bake a lot with fruits. I have one employee, she's a good friend of mine, and the other one is my husband, and then some friends as well who help us on the truck, yes. What I like best about like food truck and stuff is serving my lunch is get to know new customers and talk to them, and most of them are from Germany or are related to some Germans, so it's fun, yeah.
We'll be right back after this short message. In the meantime, why not grab yourself a nutritious snack?
Looks like it's done.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
That looks great and all, but I seem to have one pretty major problem.
And what's that?
I don't exactly have any money.
Do you like sports?
Only women's lacrosse.
Well, there's this great thing called tailgating where outside of sporting events, people serve food and drinks.
For free?
Not always. Why don't we watch Ed Bailey's piece for some more information?
Bailey with BCTV 20. Today we're going to take a look at going out and tailgating.
My name is Joe Jack. We have a bunch of friends that we like to get together with before the games. We're all ticket holders, season ticket holders, and it just kind of builds our spirits up. Hope it helps Butler out. Well, we have brats, hamburgers, baked beans, brownies, all the condiments. We have hot sauce. We have jalapeno poppers. Got about anything you want, really.
Mike Erickson started over there and just continued over here. We went to some K-State games and thought it'd be the thing to do, so we decided to come over here and keep going. Well, today we had some hamburgers with bacon chunks and cheese and onions mixed in, and we had some hot links, some brats, and then we had some jalapeno poppers. Doesn't matter, I like to cook. I'm just one of those guys that doesn't, I'll cook pork, beef, not too much chicken, but yeah, if it's big ice storm, we went over there and tailgated out in the Coliseum parking lot back in like 95. So yeah, it doesn't matter what the weather is, we'll tailgate and we'll have a good time.
Dustin Avery.
Morgan Summers.
We've been tailgating together since BG opened up out here and had a nice complex for us to come to and enjoy the games and let our kids run and play. And so probably, what is that, 4 years now?
Yeah, it's been a great experience, and it's really fun to be able to let the kids run and play in the grass while we get to see the game, and then go in when we want to sit in our seats, we'll do that, but then we can come out here before the game and enjoy the friends and family that come to enjoy it with us. We do various things. It's kind of a potluck, really, and it depends on the weather. We might do a crock pot meal or grill out the burgers and dogs and brats and all the traditional stuff.
Somebody brings this, somebody brings that, and then it all kind of comes together. My wife makes beer rocks. Beer rocks and the homemade cinnamon rolls, they're good.
Since last year when my brother started playing here.
I go in the football field last year.
What's yours? Mine's bratwurst.
Mine's pickles.
Find out.
Even I go to snow and it's very hard to see in the night when we go home. We travel all around the world. I've never been interviewing before. And that's because I want to run in the field and watch videos.
Mike Johnson, as little as possible. As you can tell, we've got some bacon-wrapped shrimp and hamburgers and brats and hot links. So we start in the afternoon and kind of put things together. But it's fun. Everybody comes together, throws a little something into it, and it's a lot of fun. Don't worry. So we tailgate in any kind of weather, absolutely. Rain, sleet, and snow does not hold back the U.S. Postal Service, and it doesn't hold us back. Yes, we do travel. We have hit every game that Butler has played this year. We will go anywhere to support this team. And Butler is all about family, and family is all about good times, and good times is all about tailgating.
This is Ed Bailey, BCTV 20.
Is that the sort of thing you'd enjoy?
Yeah, that's right up my alley, but I have to ask, where does food come from?
That's a pretty heavy question. As convenient as it may seem, we have a story over that too.
Then why don't we take the chance to educate ourselves?
Hello, I'm Adam.
And I'm Ryan Harbour. And we're here to show you some interesting things about the science of agriculture.
Well, I'd say it's multifaceted. There's lots of things going on. There's lots of different kinds of farming. So there's different kinds of foods out there. You've probably heard of GMOs and gluten-free and maybe industrial farming. All these different types of farms all kind of come together to really, I think, to provide a wide variety, which is what I like the most about American food today, is that you can go totally organic, gluten-free if you want, or you can go, industrial farming or something in the middle, some sort of a hybrid. But I like that we have lots and lots of choices, and that we should have lots and lots of choices.
Well, I think the biggest misconception about where food comes from is I think a majority of people think it comes from a grocery store or restaurant or, place where they purchase it, because one of the things in our country is food is very affordable, it's much cheaper compared to other countries in terms of its, the percent of our income that we actually spend on food. So it doesn't cost us much, and it's always available. I mean, you go to the grocery store. I don't think I've ever been to a grocery store in my whole life when there's not bread on the shelf, unless the delivery truck broke down or something.
The biggest misconception, I'm not sure it's a misconception as much as it is just a lack of understanding. There's so many of my students, high school students, who never even thought about it. I mean, to them, food is something that comes from Dillon's. It comes on a styrofoam plate or in a plastic jug or something of that, and they don't really give it a second thought. If they do, I think most of them are just sadly uninformed. Not so much misconceptions as much as just a complete lack of information when it comes to where their food comes from.
I also asked Mr. Super about how farming practices would change as the world's population increases.
Well, I can tell you this, it's going to have to change in some way. We're looking at, the next 30 years or so hitting that 8 billion mark, and then shortly after that hitting the 9 billion mark. The amount of land that we have to raise food for this increasing population isn't going to change. I mean, there's no farmland just sitting out there waiting to be, used. I think all the farmland that's there is being used. So you don't get any more land to grow food, but you have a much larger population to feed. So we have to change something.
One of the things that, that agriculture has certainly been noted for over the last several decades is incorporation of technology and new techniques that have improved production. In fact, if you just look back even over the last 60 years to 70 years, production has more than doubled and is continuing to grow in agriculture. And I think that's one of the things that we have definitely, been able to see is the use of new technology has greatly increased production with less land that is being actually farmed or utilized, and some increased regulations that maybe have challenged farming, but we continue to produce more. And I think there's a lot of new technology that's out there. It's an exciting field to be in. And while it is a challenge to grow enough food to produce for a growing population, historically, if you look back over the last few decades, agriculture has met those demands and even exceeded those demands to some degree. Well, I think for the most part, at least what I'm aware of, is there's actually a lot of challenges to organic farming because there's certain guidelines that you have to follow, and as far as use of certain products, and so I think that's one of the challenges for a lot of producers is some of the specific guidelines that you have to follow in organic farming. I think one of the biggest challenges, I would say, is actually from the educational standpoint, because I think there's certainly the ideas out there amongst much of the public and society that organic means healthier, and that's not the case actually. It doesn't necessarily mean it's healthier. It doesn't necessarily mean that there's even less different types of chemicals or other things applied to it always.
For BCTV Channel 20, I'm Adam Denton.
And I'm Ryan Harbor, signing off.
So that's where food comes from.
What'd you expect? A Soylent Green level revelation?
No need to bring lawn care into this.
Lawn care?
Yeah, Soylent Green lawn care. It's why my grass looks so green.
That reference went way over your head. I'm just going to throw the next package on and pretend like the situation isn't as awkward as it really is.
I'm Campus Edge reporter Brian Harden for BCTV Channel 20, and today we'll be taking a look at Moes Grill. Come on, let's go. Moes Grill is a hole-in-the-wall restaurant located at 710 South Main Street. Moes proudly serves burgers, barbecue, and Coke products. To learn a little bit more about Moes, I talked to the owner, Maureen Kaufelt, to find out more.
When did I open Moes? The first time I opened it was like 20 years ago. It was out there where Walmart's at, and then I moved it down here. I've been in the restaurant business a long time. I worked for 2 other restaurants in town and decided it was just as easy to own my own. What do I enjoy most about being in the restaurant business? Oh, my people, my clientele, the people who come in, people you meet, things you get to see. What kind of food we've done, we've been doing it for about 20 years. It's just whatever, you go out and have a good burger and then you say, oh, that sounds like a good idea, so you add it as you go. Well, what's specialty on my menu is our fresh fries. Fresh cut fries and our big hamburgers are unique to us.
Next, I asked her if she would change anything about Moes, what some of her challenges are, and what she believes makes Moes unique.
No, I set this up the way I wanted it, so I built it. It's hard to find good employees. Employees that want to show up to work and do their job and be loyal. Well, it's because it's a small business. It's not a chain. It's somewhere you can go and enjoy your time. You can visit. Nobody's going to push you out the door because they're in a hurry and somebody wants your place to sit.
During my time at Moes, I was treated to a cozy atmosphere and delicious food. I ordered something similar to a Big Mac, except with a homemade taste that I've never had before. The waitstaff was friendly, and the price was very fair. Overall, I would definitely recommend Moes to anyone who likes homemade food in a good environment. For the Campus Edge, I'm reporter Brian Harden, signing off.
Well, that looks like a pretty good place to get a burger, if I may say so myself.
I'm sorry, but I'm still trying to figure out what you were referring to.
Soylent Green, you know, the classic Charlton Heston film.
Never heard of it. What does it have to do with food, and more importantly, my lawn?
I'll explain it to you while we watch our last package, Tyler.
Can't wait. Let's roll my package on cheap, delicious, homemade foods. I'm Campus Edge reporter Tyler Morgan, and I'm taking a look at tasty foods that are also affordable for college students. First off, we're going to start with the ham and cheese foldovers. Now the ingredients that we will use for this is a 17.5 ounce package of puff pastry, thawed, 8 ounces of thinly sliced Black Forest ham, 4 slices of Swiss cheese that are cut in half, and 1 egg beaten with 1 tablespoon of water. First, you're going to want to set the oven at 400 degrees. That way you don't have much waiting time for preparation. Now first off, we're going to take 2 large baking sheets and line them with parchment paper. Next, we're going to lay out the sheets of puff pastry on both of the baking sheets. Then, cut the pastry into 4 squares. After that, you repeat the process on the other baking sheet. You should have 8 squares. Make sure to spread them out evenly on the trays. Next, we're going to spread out the ham evenly, corner to corner, diagonally. That way that the corners that are free can be folded over the ham and cheese. After the ham spread out evenly, next comes the cheese. Make sure each half slice of cheese is over the ham. After the ham and cheese is placed on the puff pastries, place the uncovered corners across from each other. As you're folding, make sure to brush over with the egg and water mix in order to make the corners stick together easily. Make sure to brush the exposed pastry with the egg as well. Now, bake the foldovers until golden and puffy, about 15 minutes. Serve warm. And there you have it. There's our first food. Next off is the pesto and parmesan spaghetti. This is for all you spaghetti and meatball lovers out there. All you need is about 2 tablespoons of pesto, half a box of spaghetti, and about 12 grams of parmesan, which looks like this. First, boil the spaghetti like you normally would. Now, you're going to want 2 tablespoons of pesto. Now, that's the healthy way to do it, but if you want a tasty meal like me, you put the whole jar in. And there you have it, pesto and parmesan spaghetti. After all, my lawn is made out of people?
I'm not saying that. It's just the plot to the movie.
Well, that's a relief.
I can only imagine.
This has been a pretty packed episode. We've covered everything from the burger joints to food trucks.
That's not even including an in-depth look at tailgating and where food comes from.
So if anyone watching feels the need to give the content a second viewing, check out the reruns of the show weekdays at 11 a.m. or last week's show at 6:30 p.m. on BCTV Channel 20.
Or you can check them all out on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/user/ButlerRadio1.
This has been The Campus Edge.